Welcome to the People of Northwest Arkansas podcast. I am Danielle, and we're really pumped about our show today.
I'm also Danielle. And we are super excited about our guest today, Raj Suresh, who just released a special on Amazon Prime, as well as YouTube and Apple TV called Break the Leg.
Break the Leg. Yeah.
We're super excited to have him here in the studio.
Welcome, Raj. We're so excited to have you.
Thanks for this is great. I didn't know I'd be inside of a studio, inside of a mansion owned by a DJ. That's new, but yeah, happy to be here.
Yes, thank you. So we are a podcast about Northwest Arkansas. So we want to know how you came to live in Northwest Arkansas.
Oh shoot, like this is going back to maybe 2013. I was living in Jersey, and then I got offered a job here, and then
At
moved
Walmart?
out. Yeah, well, this was at Smuckers way back then.
Oh, okay.
But I came and did the interview, and on the way out, like everyone seemed really nice. And then on the way out, the guy that would become my boss was like, you should go check out Crystal Bridges before your flight. And I was like, well, like, what about, security lines at the airport? And he's like, there's no such thing.
No.
Like back in the day, XNA was tiny. It was one guy, and he was the security and the flight attendant and the pilot.
You did everything.
You bought the ticket from him. He took your baggage. So yeah, moved here 2013, and then I ended up moving away to Cleveland for like 2 years. This was right around, I don't know, maybe around 2018 or so.
Okay.
And then went to New York City the first week of the pandemic. So it's been a whirlwind. Came back here, bought a house, moved away again back to New York, bought a bar with two of my buddies out here. So it's been a lot of back and forth for sure.
Wow, I can't imagine moving back to New York in the start of a pandemic. That's some timing, right?
Yeah, March 1st, the lease opened for me. And by March 14th, which is whatever, 2-3 days before St. Patrick's, the city was completely dead.
Whoa.
And I thought it'd be like a 2-3 week thing, right? So I flew off to St. Thomas in the U.S. Virgin Islands because I was like, I'll go mini vacation. I can work remote. And that had turned into like, I don't know, years and however long the pandemic was. So I left St. Thomas, came back because they started to like shut flights down out of there. And I was like, oh man, like if I can't get the US mainland, this is not going to be fun. But yeah, I crashed out in Atlanta and then Arkansas for a while.
Okay.
All right. What do you love about Arkansas? What do you like about it?
I don't know. It's a fun spot. I've watched it grow a bunch. My people are doing very well out here. My people being the Indians.
Mm-hmm.
We've bought up large tracts of land. There's now a full service cricket pitch. There's, like 6 Indian restaurants owned by one guy.
So it's the same person.
It's the same dude behind most of them. I think he's got like 1 or 2 competitors, but
okay.
The same dude has like, I think time and again beaten them back to the fence, So yeah, it's a fun little area. And, there was comedy here before I got here. And then I spent a considerable amount of time just doing comedy like all the time. So I started probably 2014 as a complete accident. I got hammered and I went out with one of my buddies after a tennis game and we were drinking and I ended up at an open mic. And that was close to 10 years ago.
Was that here?
This was in Northwest Arkansas.
Okay. So you guys went out, were having a good time. You had some liquid courage.
Yeah.
And then how did you get convinced to go on an open mic?
I still don't remember if he signed me up as a joke or if I signed myself up, but we were just there. We bumped into some girl that was like, I'm going to my boyfriend's open mic. So like we tagged along and next thing I know, I've been up there for 13 minutes.
So were you just like improv, just whatever was in your head?
I think I had like one joke.
Do you remember it?
The first joke?
Yeah.
Yes. I want to hear
I'm pretty sure the first joke was like, I don't know if I didn't volunteer to do this, but I'm doing it anyway. So I know how Ali felt during the draft. And then the other 12 and a half minutes were pure trash. Like just,
oh no.
And it was normally at an open mic, you get 5 to 7 minutes. I didn't know this at the time. Right. So I see what's in comedy terms, it's called the light, right? Someone flashes you from the back of the room to get off stage.
Okay.
And that usually means you have a minute or 2 left.
Mm-hmm.
I thought people were taking pictures of me because I was doing so good. And all this.
Oh my god!
So did you see like a lot of flashes?
No, I just saw the same guy taking pictures of me. I was like, he must really like what I'm doing. And I get off stage and he's like, yeah, dude, that means you need to get off stage. Like, so you ran double the set length as everyone else. But mistakes were made. That's part of the growth trajectory.
So were you like, did you get like a high from it? Like, I have to keep doing this. I want to do this again. I
felt like immediately, I kind of knew I was comfortable up there.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if I could write or tell jokes or any of that stuff. But, I knew I liked it.
Yeah.
And I didn't like have a ton of hobbies, like occasional tennis game, but my other hobby was like just drinking. So I was like, oh, this is a productive
That's
way
a fun hobby though.
Yeah, it's a productive way to do that.
It's one of my hobbies.
Nice.
Especially wine.
Especially wine.
Very
but
cool.
I like cocktails too.
Beer. There's
And-
good local beer.
Yeah. And you have a new bar.
Yes, we do have a bar. It's me, my buddy Alex, and my other friend Alan. So the three of us actually bumped into each other at Bentonville Brewing. And I guess I talked to Alan about opening a bar, and he talked to Alex, and now we have a bar. It's right next to Heroes Coffee downtown. It's called the Botanical. And so I'm from India originally. Alan is from the UK, and Alex is from Micronesia.
Wow.
So the bar kind of reflects that. There's a lot of international beer. There's a lot of international everything.
I love
That's
that.
exciting.
Yeah.
That is really great.
That is why I love Northwest Arkansas, because when I moved here from Dallas, I was used to a very just diverse landscape and lots of different restaurants and places to shop, grocery stores, bars. And so I've just noticed in the past 6 years how much that's really exciting to me, because I love to try something different and new.
Right.
So there'll be cocktails, like different.
So we're waiting on the liquor permit. So for now, the way we've subbed around that is to use sake, because it kind of tastes the same, but it's a higher alcohol percentage, and it's technically rice wine.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know this, but the state of Arkansas produces crazy amounts of rice.
I heard that.
Yeah. I think it's one of the largest producers of rice in the country.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're tapping into that. I think there's a sake company out of Hot Springs that I think are trying to onboard. What we get now, we get from our distributor.
Yeah.
But we'd really like to make that, a staple, so that people kind of know, like, this is a crop that grows here, and we're utilizing it to its best degree. I mean, if it's fresh rice, and naturally you're going to end up getting fresher rice wine out of that.
That's really awesome.
I cannot wait.
I'm really
to
excited.
tell my husband
this.
we're gonna. I mean, it's the grand opening.
Is technically today.
Okay.
But we soft opened last weekend. We saw I think I looked at the report today, probably over 1,000 covers served over the weekend. We have a really large non-alcoholic menu too.
Yeah.
So like basically any cocktail or cocktail that you see on the menu can be made non-alcoholic, but we also have a ton of other stuff to check out. Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like there's a trend of the mocktail movement, people just wanting to be healthier. I'm not one of them.
Sure.
I appreciate a spirit.
Nice.
or a rice wine.
Right.
Wine is my number one drink. So
yeah, we've got some good wine. We're expanding the wine list. But yeah, there's a lot going on at the bar. We'll show everything from sports and beyond.
All right.
There's a shawarma truck out back.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, and the pretty large patio that we might need to throw parties on or stand up or whatever else.
No,
that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah,
will you have an open mic at your bar?
I don't know about an open mic, but I know we'll do shows.
Because Danielle and I are going to show up.
We're going to
drink some rice wine.
Nice.
And make fools of ourselves.
Nice. Yeah.
Mom jokes. Left and right.
So
Danielle tried to write up some jokes for you.
I told
and
them
she's
to my
not going to tell them because her mom told her
my mom
not
told
to
me
share
that
them.
I would sound like a joke if I told those
But
jokes.
now I'm putting her on the spot.
No, I
do
can't
it. Do one
it.
of them.
Just one. Do
Oh,
it.
God.
Come on,
Now
it's
I'm
okay.
gonna no, okay. Circle back because
All right, we can circle back.
Circle
So tell
back
us a
to
little
me.
bit more about your journey. So your first experience was at an open mic night, and then you thought through this, hey, I'm comfortable up in front of an audience.
Right.
And so what kind of led you into comedy and writing and performing at the Grove and performing in New York and in other cities and now a special? So tell us a little bit about that journey.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of been, I think I had a really good community in Bentonville for the most part that would, like the first shows I ever put together myself were at the Big Chill. If you remember, like before they shut down, they were around a while. And to go from that to sort of then like eventually like selling out the Meteor. And then I kind of felt like I pretty much tapped out how much I could learn in this area. It's still always fun to come back and perform, and it holds a special place in my heart, which is, I mean, I literally have a house and a bar here. But I felt like I like Cleveland was the next, I got offered another job there. And that city was pivotal to my growth as a comic and as a person. There's a great comedy scene. The bench is not weak at all. Any show you're on, people are going to kill. That's almost, guaranteed. Like it's going to be a hard lineup to get on because there's so many options that producers can go to for who they want to put on the lineup.
Yeah.
Great scene, a ton of great comics. It's actually where I shot my special. And then, and now New York. So New York is even, I think, harder because there's other elements. It's not necessarily that their comics are hard to defeat, which they are, if you think about it from a competitive standpoint, which I don't think is healthy, but people do. It's also there's so much comedy happening, and there's so many shows, and everyone is trying to cultivate and get an audience. So like, your ability to draw is important to a certain degree. And if you can't draw in a big city like New York, because people have 20,000 options, like if they don't get a ticket to your show tonight, they can go 2 doors down and go to a bar, or go to a world-class restaurant, or whatever else it is. It just sharpens you as a comic because you just want to kill all the time. And when I don't, like, it hurts inside.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. Because you're looking at other people and you're like, shit, I should have done that good.
Yeah.
What they're doing, So yeah, it's definitely like a steel sharpened steel situation.
What is your draw? How are you unique, and how are you drawing in an audience?
Brown guy, funny.
Brown guy funny. Definitely.
Well, I think that's good. I saw a bit that you did where you said you told a lot of Indian jokes, and at the end, a guy said, I didn't really relate.
Yeah.
But you were in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And so
this actually happened. I know I said Oklahoma City in the joke, but it actually happened at Cherokee Casino.
Okay.
In Concord, right? Which is just over the state line. Mm-hmm. The guy came up and he was like, I didn't get the Indian stuff. And I was like, okay. And then he looked at me. He was like, oh, wait. And he's like, you're a dot, not a feather. And he pointed at himself. And I go, well, dude, update your references. I'm a computer, not a casino Indian. And so that bit in the last week has gone somewhat viral. It's got 2.5 million views.
That's what I saw. I was looking at some of your most viral on TikTok and Instagram.
Right.
And that was pretty funny.
That's up there. Yeah. And it's weird because I set some goals at the start of the year. I sat down with my girlfriend and we like penned it all out. And one of them was to get to 10K Instagram followers by the end of the year. And we were looking at it a month ago before the special came out. And I was like, man, like we're more than halfway through the year. I've got 4 months left. I'm only at 3,300 or something. Mm-hmm. Special comes out, clip comes out. And now in the last week, now I'm sitting at like 9,500 something.
Oh, I was just going to say that you're definitely hitting that goal.
Yeah,
by the end of
I hope so.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But now the pressure's on to create another one of those. Because I don't always think I don't know, the resonance of that joke, I think comes from the fact that people have their own version of it.
Right. Absolutely.
And, the whole dot, not feather thing has been around for forever. Mm-hmm. And so it's relatable. Mm-hmm. And a lot of my other material, I don't know if it's super relatable because, like, there's a lot of 9/11 jokes in there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
911.
There's a lot of comedy in there that is just a little politically edgier, I guess. Mm-hmm. And then there is definitely lowbrow, easy humor as well.
Absolutely.
The lowbrow, easy humor.
Yeah. We were watching something on your Instagram where you did a collaboration with... Oh gosh, I need my notes for this one. I can't pronounce her name. How do you pronounce her name?
Was it with the matchmaker?
The matchmaker.
Zarna Garg.
Yes.
Yeah, so I opened for Zarna, and she's been fantastic, super supportive always. So we were sitting around. This was in Chicago, and there's a very popular Netflix show called Indian Matchmaking.
Yes,
I've seen it.
Yeah. So
I love the matchmaking.
I want to talk
shows.
about this.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, so Zarna and I were talking, and I was like, I have a joke where I'm like, the moment you go bald, no father will give you his daughter's hand in marriage. And so that's the base of that joke.
Yeah, because you take your hat off and she's like,
she's
no.
like immediately like, no.
Immediately no.
Immediately no.
And then Vic Pandya, who's the other guy on the show that night with us, very handsome fellow, right? Full head of hair and all of that. She's immediately like, yes. Like,
and she like runs her hands like through his hair. Like,
she's like, let me make sure this is real.
The check mark.
All right.
She had to make sure it was real.
Yeah. So they're both very sweet people. Zarna especially has been super supportive of my comedy. She has her own special on Amazon Prime, and like it's got a ton of views. So if you ever get the chance, go watch her.
And where can our listeners catch your special?
So it's called Break the Leg, not Break a Leg. It's on Apple TV, Amazon Prime Video, YouTube. It'll be on a handful of TV channels like Tubi and all that. Like, I haven't looked down the list, but on demand you can get it on those 3 platforms. And then if you're a TV person, I think it streams for free, but obviously you have to wait until it's on, and I don't know when it's on. And I think some of the tracks will air on Sirius as well, hopefully. So the actual audio version of the album is also out.
Oh,
absolutely.
Cool.
I love the name of your special, Break the Leg.
Yeah.
And just maybe tell our listeners a little bit about
was that from your mom?
Yeah.
You got that. Yes, I love it. I love it. With just, I have a little bit of a theater background. And so I've often said, break legs, you
not
know, like,
break
break your
the leg.
Not break the leg.
Break the leg.
It's not a break a leg is not a common phrase in India. So I told my mom, she would always wish me good luck. And I told her about it.
That's bad luck.
Yeah.
Right?
And so she goes, all right, break your leg. And I was like, that's not no. And then the next time she was like, all right, I'll do it correct. And then she said, break the leg. And then my dad's like, wait, tell him break both of his legs. So it's funny, some of those bits, like I put them out and like people will tell me before shows, especially friends of mine, they'll be like, break all of your legs. And
how many legs do I have? Like,
yeah. I have a friend who says, break legs.
Break legs.
Yeah, not break a leg, break legs. And I'm like, okay, let's break all of our legs.
Yeah. My God, it's like really taking it
fantastic
to the next level.
So a little bit, because we love to know more about people and what their lives are all about. And so you did this bit that was about matchmaking.
Yeah.
And so you didn't need a matchmaker, did you? So we were hoping to be matchmakers, but we found out you have a girlfriend.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
So tell us about how you met her.
Yeah.
Were you introduced to her?
We met through a mutual friend at a bar in Cleveland.
Okay.
And, it wasn't anything at that point because I was just out with a buddy, and then we connected with someone who was a mutual coworker of ours, and Sarah just happened to be at the bar. And then like months later, we, I guess, ended up becoming Instagram friends and starting to chat. And then really COVID did me a favor because, I think in the normal world of dating, when you can see people and see what they look like, that instantly disqualifies me a lot of the time. But when it's a words
not
game,
enough swipe rights, right?
When it's a words game, I think that's where I practice, right? So I think that was helpful. Yeah, we've been dating like 2.5-ish years, 3 years at this point.
Oh wow, that's a long time.
Yeah. And I'm a little bit older too, So my I think what I'm trying to do life-wise aligns very well with what she's also trying to do. So we'll see where that heads in the next year or 2 years.
That's exciting.
That's really exciting. Did she help you with any of your content? Are you writing?
I mean, I asked her today or yesterday. I was like, hey, if we had to get matching tattoos, she's not a tattoo person. And I was like, all right, we have to get matching tattoos. Would you do it? She was like, no. And I was like,
no.
And I was like, okay, if we had to get it or I get deported, would you do it? And she's like, I would find you a really good lawyer, honey. So
she's like, I'm not playing this game with you.
Yeah.
She's not getting it.
She's very funny. I not in the stand-up sense, because I don't think she likes the limelight. She doesn't like a big scene. It's like she doesn't like to do social media very much. But yeah, Sarah helps me think through a lot of the show business end of things and of life. But when it comes to joke writing, she generally allows me to just do that. Once in a while, she'll give me like, hey, like maybe try this, try that.
Yeah.
But, I'm around comics all the time. Mm-hmm. So if anyone's going to give you a tag on a joke, it's going to be guys that practice, that can see another way out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the humor in the set. And I think I've got jokes on the special come from actual things that have happened. Like,
That's awesome.
I always wondered that
Real
about comedians,
life
if they're making some of it up or like if all the things actually happened to them.
There's a lot of embellishment.
Yeah, okay, embellishment.
Right. I mean, Hassan Minaj right now is like quote unquote under fire because the bit's not 100% real, which is such a silly thing.
Right. Yeah.
Like, okay, Dave Chappelle is one of the greatest comedians to ever do it. And you listen to some of his jokes and it's clearly fictional.
Right. Oh, he's hilarious.
You're not there. It's like getting mad at an actor because they're not actually like a Civil War general.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I was just going to say, we're storytellers. We embellish.
Yeah. We were just talking about on the radio show this morning with Brock about, what is it, Dr. Dolittle, where he's Reggie. Do you remember that movie where he's a comedian? Dave Chappelle's a stand-up.
Is that? I thought that was Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy was there, but Dave Chappelle's the stand-up.
Oh, okay. It's been years since I've seen it.
It's an older movie. No, but Dave Chappelle, the Chappelle Show was like one of the best. This is one of the funniest shows.
I still watch it.
Yeah.
I still watch it from every now and then. I'll hop on there. I'll watch the Rick James skit. I'll watch the Clayton Bigsby one.
The couch scene.
Yeah. I'll watch the Blind White Supremacist, which is, they're just great.
Yep. So many. Yeah. His show was good.
Who are some of your comedic inspirations?
Yeah. We want to know.
I mean, when I first started watching comedy, I was in high school in India. And so Russell Peters' videos were going viral and all illegally downloaded. So we would watch those. And then Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle, Bill Burr. I think those are the top four.
Nice. Yeah.
And obviously, like, I think Carlin ends up on that list. I think there's a healthy dose of anti-authoritarianism within comedy, which I think is necessary. And the landscape changed considerably over the last 5 to 10 years. It became like, no punching down, then it kind of swung back the other way. Now it's kind of getting back to center. So yeah, it's had some very weird ups and downs where I think people were scared to get canceled for a while or whatever that means. And then we were like, well, Cosby went to jail and is like now doing a full scale tour that people are going to. So
so anything's
cancellation
possible.
Real? Like, we don't know what this beast is anymore.
It was a marketing ploy.
Yeah, I'm not sure what
Probably
it is.
not, but absolutely.
I'm glad that I was really sad when cancel culture affected comedy, because I think that's
absolutely
right. That's anybody's on the table in comedy. It's like for me, comic relief is like therapy. Like, I love to just laugh.
Absolutely.
So when people censor themselves, they're not being truly authentic to who they are. So I love when you just put your heart on your sleeve and just.
I still try to keep it pretty. I don't think of myself as a incredibly dirty comedian, but that's not because I'm trying to be clean or anything like that. It's just kind of where the ball lands.
Yeah.
That said, some of these guys need to be canceled, not for stuff that they stuff that they say, but because they're a danger to the community.
Right.
We don't need you
Bill
signing
Cosby.
Autographs or interacting with the public.
Right.
So
if you're like,
absolutely
assaulting people.
Right.
assaulting.
Yeah, that's not good. You should be canceled for that. Like, for a legitimate reason, not just an off-color joke.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, so we have to talk about a bit that you did about how weird American weddings can be, because it really hit home for me when you were
talking
talking
really
about.
Been watching my clips, huh?
I have. No. So I watched one about, you're talking about how they get married in a church and then there's not much time in between. The groom's got his teeth on the garter.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I was laughing with her because over the summer, if my cousin-in-laws are listening, sorry, but I'm about to out you for your wedding.
Yeah.
We went and like everyone was praying and, it was very like a touching moment. And then literally just moments later, we had on like 90s hip hop.
Yeah.
People were dirty dancing, grinding. And then he's got his head up her dress, taking the garter off. And one of the other married in, my cousin-in-law looked at me and he's like, wow, that there wasn't much time in between, that and then this. And I was like, yeah, I was a little shocked, but that's just how it goes, I guess.
I don't know. I think my dad has always said to give people a reason to celebrate. Like, that's what he always. But at the same time, it's straying into this area of extreme vanity. Like when the bride and groom do like an entrance dance, I hate that. It's like, was the $50,000 wedding not enough attention for you? Now we have to watch you do a stupid choreographed routine. And I'm Indian. And so I'm like, I know my family's going to be like, oh, you have to do that. No.
Yeah.
I just want to invite 50 comedians. Everyone gets 5 minutes. We'll just see who kills.
Yes.
But I hate that.
But if you're the groom, you have to kill, right?
I don't know. The garter toss situation, though, is a weird one.
It is weird.
Yeah.
That's weird. And then in this culture, I guess the bride's family pays for
most of the
wedding, right? Yeah. And then what does the groom's family pay for? The reception or something?
The rehearsal
dinner.
Which is, how cheap is that?
It's like 1/20 of, I guess it depends. But
I kind of like that. Because most of
1/100th.
I think if you ask most guys, we don't have a Pinterest board of our wedding day. We don't have a vision board for what it should look like.
Right.
And if the day is all about the bride, then I'm of the opinion that, you all should bear the cost then, because it's all about her. Yeah. I also don't like dudes crying at weddings when she first comes to the door, like, oh, I've never seen her be so. I would be crying over the loan for the dress. It's like a $5,000 dress you're going to wear one time.
And there's a new trend where they destroy the dress too.
Why?
I don't know. I did not destroy
mine. There's a new trend destroying the dress.
Yeah, they go jump in the ocean or throw food. Like, I don't know. I've just seen a trend.
They do a whole photo shoot.
And then they get a second dress.
And we wonder why the rest of the world is not a huge fan of America.
I know.
We wonder.
$5,000 dress. Yeah. Let's destroy this. It's only the salary for a person in India for the entire year.
I think I spent less money on my wedding gown than my niece spent on her prom dress.
Oh,
wow. I know. Hey, I'm proud of you, Danielle.
It's crazy. Anyway, so weddings are an interesting
Did you know
mix.
I used to plan weddings? And I used to plan Indian weddings too.
Really?
I did Sangeets and
I don't like some of the American wedding traditions are just downright creepy, right? Like
yes, 100%.
$1 for a dance deal where like you.
Oh, I didn't do that.
And then the thing where people clink glasses and they're like, yeah, give her vampire kiss, like that, you know. that for me is a little much. I don't like, that's just so weird. And it's like, how do you go from, and that, I think those parts are weird. I think the cringiest thing is when the maid of honor or the best man decide to give like a hilarious speech
or hook up.
Either that, well, the speech thing is bad. If they rap, that's even worse. But I just think like, so I've worked in corporate environments before, right? And as a stand-up comedian, that's hard because there is no worse form of humor than office jokes.
Yeah.
The reason the show The Office is successful is because everyone knows how cringy some of that stuff is.
It's so bad. Yeah.
And I mean, a long time ago, I used to work with a guy who every Monday morning we would have a staff meeting. He would always come in and he'd go, I got good news and bad news, guys. Same joke every week for 52 weeks or whatever, for the whole year on Monday morning. Good news and bad news. The bad news is business is down. The good news is at least it's consistent. And then all the bozos in the room would clap and laugh. And it's like, please shoot me in the face. If this is the level that you think.
And Hawaiian shirt day is Friday.
People that would come to comedy shows and judge you. These people with a zero sense of humor will show up and be like, well, I could do that. And it's like, yeah, cool.
Good try.
I've seen you in the office by the water cooler cracking 3 guys up because they need a promotion from you. It's not the same thing.
It's not the same.
All right. Worst heckler you've ever had.
This was way back when Bentonville Brewing Company was on 5th Street. There was like a big dude, bald, tiny goatee, you know, sitting in the front row talking the whole time. And I forget what he said now, but I was like, hey, do you want to calm down? And he's like, do you want to go back to where you came from? And I go, shut up, Cold Stone Steve Austin, because he he just looked like he wasn't ready. He was like, you have a fight? I was like, I think you're fighting diabetes right now. Why don't you sit down?
God.
It's like we've had fights break out.
I can't believe people actually say that. Like, people still say that.
I think it's changed a little. Town's become a little bit more.
That's like
a little bit more sensitive.
I love that you fought back with
all the LA folks have showed up, and so now
they did. All the LA people.
I'm very tired of pretending that we have a growing film scene. Let's put it that way.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm very tired of us giving tax credits to the very people that spent the last 30, 40 years on film making fun of places like this that are now showing up and filming here because they're on the tail end of their careers and no one in LA will hire them.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say it, but that's the truth, right? We've got to stop celebrating C-list stars that are showing up here because there's free money available and acting like they're adding something to the community. It makes us look like we don't have taste. And I think it kind of sets us backward.
Yeah.
There are great independent filmmakers. There's great people doing art from this area.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, I agree.
You have festivals in town with these massive productions that want us to go and attend, but they won't book local artists.
Yeah.
And then there's an outcry. And then it's like, and I've seen the disparity, right? I know what bands from Brooklyn get paid to play to absolutely nobody in this area at some of the high profile venues. I'm not going to name them. And I know what I've been offered to do the same amount of time.
Yeah.
And it's the difference is not even in, I think I got offered $150, right? And I knew what they were making.
Yeah.
Plus the honorarium to fly them out. I'm like, I can draw here. I can put asses in seats. And these guys aren't doing that. Plus the music is fine. It's not world changing. It's just there was a lot of gatekeeping that was going on at the time. And the only reason this community gets listened to is because we've created enough of a ruckus about it. So now this year, I think Format has 9 local artists. Krista Serrano Torres modeling. Those guys are great. DJ Afrosia is opening the festival as the first act on the first day, which I think is fantastic. Those are all positive moves. But if you're trying to cultivate, I think there's a difference between cultivating an arts scene and cultivating an arts audience. And we are, in my opinion, using Arkansas money, Arkansas venues, Arkansas backdrop, Arkansas everything to put up acts from LA and New York and wherever else when you have good talent right here. Of course, you wouldn't know that if you spent your whole time in an office booking stuff through an agency instead of actually going out into your community, into bars, into clubs, and watching the people that are actually performing day in, day out for this place specifically.
Yeah.
So I know that seems like a lot of heat, but I really don't care. Like, these guys know where they're messing up. And you can't ignore your community until you absolutely have to get some kind of response together because it's turning into a PR crisis. Like, that's,
we care about the people of Northwest Arkansas. That's literally
every
the name
voice matters.
Every voice matters. And I think for the two of us, just in the worlds that we exist in and having been transplants for years now here in Northwest Arkansas, I think that there's something unique here. There's something beautiful happening in this area where you're seeing a lot of talent, whether it's in film or in music or in comedy, people who are opening up businesses who maybe didn't have a chance to do that somewhere else, but they're bringing their gifts here and they're pouring themselves into this community rather than just coming, making a film and then leaving. Like I 100% agree with you on that. Just being in the film kind of world here, that you do see a lot of that, and you see a lot of music coming in and then leaving. You see just a lot of different things that are coming in and leaving, but you're seeing a growth of people coming and saying and planting roots here and planting seeds here. And I think it's really great. And the fact that you do comedy here, elsewhere, you have a bar, like you're pouring into the community.
Yeah, I love that. You're investing in the area.
Like what we're doing. Tell us a little bit about the comedy scene here and what people can expect and maybe some of the venues that they should go check out.
Yeah, I think for me, there's a lot of good young comedians that are now coming up. There's, I'm from a different class, as it were, right? So like I'm 10 years in, but there's some guys that are 1 to 5 years in that are really doing some good stuff. And I don't know the exact time that each one of them has been doing it, but all the way down to like Fort Smith and up. So if you get a chance, like Andy Davis, Sam Price, Edric George, like there's names. Kyle Kordsmeyer was in New York and it's just come back. So there's really good names performing. And a lot of the time, like I'll have a monthly show that runs at Bentonville Brewing Company. It's in the back of the brewery, if you've ever been there.
I have been in there. I saw a magician with my daughter.
Yeah. So it's very speakeasy-esque.
It was awesome.
It's great.
And I've run shows in Bentonville for probably 5 or 6 years. I still do shows at the back of Bike Rack or the Meteor. And so that's kind of home base for me. I think the area is brimming with talent. And part of why I love the community is they've been so supportive of what I've tried to do for a long period of time, right? So, and jumping back briefly to the conversation outside of comedy. So like Christian Serrano Torres and Tim Warden had this band called Rosenbridge. So we did a show together where it was a comedy and music at Crystal Bridges. We had like a 20-foot stage with a sort of like a catwalk out. We had a confetti cannon in there in the Great Hall.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, I know confetti cannons are banned. I don't know if I'm banned from performing there ever again because they said they were finding confetti behind the frames of the art for weeks afterwards. Like it was very small. We tried to keep it a reasonable size, but it was very snow globe. Like they would blast this confetti in the air every time Rosenbridge would finish a song. Then I'd do like a couple jokes and they would play music in the back.
Right.
And then they'd do another song at the end of each act. So we wrote like a 3-act show basically. And so I'm bringing all that up to say that there's a lot of creative experimentation that can happen here. Absolutely. That you're like in New York, you're under the gun to show them what you've built. Every 5-minute set matters. When I went to Asheville, North Carolina, we did the Diana Wortham Theater as part of the Laugh Your Asheville Off Comedy Festival. And it's a full theater. It's a couple hundred people. And for whatever reason, like I feel comfortable in those environments because the clock doesn't feel as restrictive. It's like 6 to 7 minutes. If you go over a little bit, people aren't super upset as long as you're killing. And I think that is the real test here. Is you're going to get to watch people in the process of creation. I don't know why it is that people turn out anytime someone famous is on stage, but they won't go watch someone solid who's just dialing it in week after week in a good way. I'm not saying usually dialing it in sounds like you're phoning it in, but no, I mean just like getting the fine tuning done. And I think our mindset has to change from watching someone just because they're famous to watching someone because they're good.
Yeah.
Christian played at the Cannes Film Festival this year, right?
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
But if I put him up and let's say I get Lindsay Sterling, who's a fantastic violinist in her own right and all of that, or just somebody famous, I think the same community will go and watch that over the local guy that writes music from his heart, from this area. And that's just why artists leave.
Yeah.
So if we're going to create something that generates any kind of monetary interest, it only seems natural to me that should go to the people that love and support this community day in, day out. Versus, your cool background music when I'm having a pizza and a beer. But when I get to spend money and support the artist, I'm going to go pay a guy that's never coming back here after he gets the cash today.
Yeah.
Or unless he gets cash the next time. So yeah, I think as a community, we have to change that. If you truly want to be a patron of the arts, for lack of a better word,
yeah,
it takes critical understanding. But we live in the era of people wanting to be entertained easily. 30-second clips. I mean, comedy is literally moving in that direction. I've had a set for years. That joke that you're watching that is going viral this week has been part of my set since maybe like 2017, 2018.
That's amazing how, because
the power of social media.
They say like, okay, my sister's 23. She doesn't even watch TV anymore. And none of her friends, they just watch TikTok because they said it's so much better than watching TV because it's a quick laugh and then that app just curates.
But that's like saying crystal meth is better than weed. Great. It's an incredible high.
I know.
I'm sure. And you're just looking for the next hit. But,
yes.
You know, at a certain
the
point.
Substance?
However, I do like that and maybe, I don't know if you share this opinion or you can share your experience with it, but I kind of feel like it's taking entertainment out of the hands of the giants and into
Agreed.
The person, you can create your own.
There is a splintering of comedy though that is happening in that dialogue, right?
Yeah.
Like now, let's say you like me, you like a clip, and you come and watch the live show. Do you want to watch 30 of those clips basically back to back, or are you more prone to going, I'm going to watch one clip from here, one clip from there?
I see what you're saying.
6 different acts, each doing a different style of comedy. You're able to curate a mixed bag. So people no longer, I don't think, or very rarely, are they willing to step into the artist's creation fully. Like when was the last time you saw a full hour special? Comedy specials are now 30 minutes more often than an hour.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, they are about 30 minutes.
Attention spans are down. People are literally picking and choosing these, like, it's kind of like going into a beer store where you can pick 6 kinds of beer
instead of one
6-pack.
Yeah. Right.
And enjoying it all the way through.
Variety is the spice of life.
It's the nature of the beast, I guess. The model will keep changing. I think it will swing back. I think TikTok is a recent phenomenon it's here to stay, but not in the way that people think.
Yeah,
I agree.
Like
I think so too.
We went to the extreme point of short form content with Vine, right? 6 seconds. And then and even with Twitter, 140 characters. It was about brevity and speed. And now it's, 280 characters, 60-second clips. It's expanding back out. It gives me hope. And, it's good in the sense that sometimes people do get discovered by larger audiences because it's just 30 seconds.
Yeah, they go viral.
Yeah. The downside, too, though, of like all of this is you lose the ability to... I think comedy almost starts to become more... There's a big debate raging now about, like, is crowd work good or bad? Because a lot of comics don't want to put their material out because once you see the joke, if you come to my show, you know some of these jokes already. But yeah. So you always have to stay 1 hour ahead in terms of writing from what's out there. So you put crowd work out because it's on the fly. You're not going to tell the joke twice because it's 2 people and that's a specific person that's not at every show.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's why there's a lot of crowd work clips out now. I personally think it's good.
How do you feel about dad jokes?
I love like my favorite jokes are not the ones I tell on stage.
Yeah.
They're just the dumb stuff that
I love dumb
like.
jokes. Yeah.
And I'll tell them to Sarah and she'll always and the more she hates them, I almost like them more. Like, I like antagonizing people with how terrible my jokes are. And that's really what I've always loved about comedy is kind of like poking the bear.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite dad joke?
Not off the top of my head. I do, but I don't know if it's politically correct.
We can edit it out.
We can edit it if not. Let's hear it.
I guess I could spin it, right? Okay. So 3 guys are flying around the world on a flight for world peace. And as they fly over their respective countries, they toss out an object that symbolizes their nation. So it's an Englishman, an Italian, and an Indian. I'm going to make it my own race just because that's the easy whatever so that other cultures aren't offended. So they fly over the UK, the guy tosses out a pint of beer and then the pilot comes up over the PA and he's like, oh, the beer hit someone on the head. They've died. We're going to land. And so they land, they offload the Englishman, they continue on the flight. Italian tosses out a pizza. Same thing. Pizza's killed somebody. So they offload the Italian guy. They fly over India. Indian guy tosses a grenade out the window. The pilot doesn't radio. Flight continues. Everything's good. He lands the flight. And the Indian guy's like, that's so weird. One guy tossed out a beer that killed someone. A pizza killed someone. The grenade didn't kill anybody. And he goes home. And he sees his dad sitting on the stoop. And something's not right because the house behind the stoop is gone. And he looks at his dad and he's like, what happened? And his dad goes, I don't know, but I farted and the house blew up. So it's just like the dumbest jokes that you heard on the schoolyard as a kid.
Yes.
Oh my God.
That I always love those.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love those.
Yeah, my son and my husband both potty jokes round the clock.
Oh,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
yeah. How can our listeners find you on social? Do you want to give your handles?
Sure.
or-
Yeah. It's just Raj does comedy on everything.
Okay.
And if they want the special, it's called Break the Leg. It's also available pretty much everywhere. You can listen to it if you'd like to, but I honestly think it's just, you might as well just watch it. It's a little more expensive to do that way, but it's better.
Yeah.
And the special is we did it one show, one take. Like we didn't film it multiple times. So it's literally just that audience, which is the dumbest way to film a special, but it worked out okay. So
Yeah.
I'm happy with it. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's
Well,
awesome.
thanks for coming on the show.
For
Yes,
sure.
thank
Thank you for
you.
having me. This has been great. And yeah, please come by the bar.
Absolutely.
So Danielle, what are you drinking today?
I've got an oat milk latte from Airship.
Awesome.
Mhm.
I went a little bit white girl basic with my vanilla latte.
Oh, you
Iced
are, girl.
vanilla latte. But it is also from Airship. Cheers.
Cheers.
We love Airship. And one of our favorite locations, even though parking can be a challenge,
It is sometimes.
is on A Street. So
Mhm.
Airship at the Pump House. You can also go to Airship not downtown Bentonville, but sort of near the art district in
Mhm.
Bentonville, near the Momentary, as well as Airship at Kohler.
That's
which
my favorite.
is
Mhm.
really fun.
Really good
So
cookies.
go check them out. We love coffee, as you know. They're not an official sponsor today.
But we love them so much that we have to give them a shout out because we work there all the time and love their coffee.
Thanks so much for listening to today's show.
If you enjoyed the podcast, please follow so that you never miss an episode. You can also follow along on our Instagram at People of NWA. You can also find our email and website there. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep sharing your stories. Thank you for being part of the People of Northwest Arkansas community.
People of Northwest Arkansas with the two Danielles, produced by me, Brock Short of Civil Republic Productions. Please rate, review, and like us on any podcast platform where you listen. For more information about today's guests and the show, please check the show notes. Thanks for listening.